let's do this thing. How to do it all. This is a question that most mom entrepreneurs, moms, women in general will ask themselves multiple times in their lifetime. And often we are looking for secrets, solutions, things that will solve our problems in the world around this topic. How do we balance? How do we prioritize? How do we live a happy life? How do we be a quintessential mother in the common modern world that we live in? And we're going to talk in this video about some of the common misconceptions around balance and prioritization, what it can look like for you to learn some seriously valuable critical thinking skills and how to prioritize for your family, your spouse, and you, not for someone else trying to imprint some type of solution or hack that they've experienced working onto you, but you actually learning how to troubleshoot, be creative, be innovative about the things that you're implementing in your family. As well as we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can identify comparison in your life, how you can identify the things that get in the way of you being able to objectively make choices that are good for your family, your spouse, your children, and you. If you do not know me, and this is the first time that you're meeting me, hi, I'm Katie. I support mom entrepreneurs in using their insights, their gifts, their skills, and creativity in supporting their families and their communities through entrepreneurship. I love watching families thrive. And as a single woman, I have devoted my life to the support and nurture of moms in how they grow their children, grow their families, and live their life in supporting and inspiring others in their communities. So today we're going to talk about this concept of doing it all. And a lot of times when we're talking about doing it all, we're talking about how do we prioritize? How do we complete our goals? How do we achieve? How do we follow through? How do we learn some of these skill sets and these characteristic qualities that will support us in having the discipline, the rigor, and the capacity to be able to accomplish a lot in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, in a lifetime. A lot of times when we're talking about having it all as a mom entrepreneur, we're kind of at that moment of like exasperation, right? We're just sort of like, oh, I wish I could do it all, or how could I do it all? Or, we're coming from this place often of comparison and exasperation around wanting to know how to prioritize, how to focus, how to follow through. And there are a lot of ideas out there that get in the way of even seeing getting it all done, doing it all as a possibility. ADHD, ADD, some of these mental illnesses that are really prevalent in our moms in particular, in our stay-at-home moms and our entrepreneurial moms. Ambition is a beautiful thing until it starts to overcome every other quality of life and gets us stuck in a place where we end up just self-destructing because we're so driven and ambitious that we constantly are just disappointing ourselves. And then it becomes this like self kind of conversation versus reminding ourselves, why are we doing this in the first place? Why was this an inspiring choice to be an entrepreneur, to be a stay-at-home mom, to, educate and nurture our kids, or have this really healthy dynamic and healthy relationship with our spouses. So when we're looking at doing it all, we really get to look at the underlying conversation that's going on for moms. And this is why we're going to focus a lot in this video around comparison, because comparison is often the thing that launches us into wanting to do it all or wanting to look a certain way. We see someone on social media who is the quintessential social media mom entrepreneur who seems to do it all with grace and ease, never has a moment of, frustration or anger towards her children, and her business is thriving and everything is perfect. And the reality is that's not real. And most of us consciously know this in our head, and yet we see it over and over and over again through the social media, through, online forums, because this is what we constantly want to portray, to experience. And so we're like constantly regurgitating the same lie over and over again. Now, here's the beauty. Sometimes what ends up happening is we watch the perfect entrepreneurial mother online, and then we beat ourselves up and go into this self-spiral conversation and then end up settling for, well, I could never be X, Y, or Z. And it can actually have the opposite effect, kind of like how antidepressants will not only depress the low lows that you have, but it will also depress the highs that you have. And so what ends up happening through social media, just like a drug, is we experience that depression on the highs of like, oh, I'd love to be that, but now I can't. And then we also experience that depression on the lows of being able to actually look at what's not working. What are we missing? What are we not disciplined around? What do we get to improve on? What would we like to actually learn a skill around and actually being committed to following through on that? Sometimes social media can actually be the thing that just distracts us from realizing where we do get to do some work as women. And also being able to do that from a place that is solid, clear, grounded about others, not about fulfilling some type of ego satisfaction. Now, we're going to talk in detail about what this actually looks like in conversations, what this looks like in our real lives, what this looks like through stories and experiences that we've had. And I'd love, as you're following through in this video, to jump in the comments below and share your insights, your stories, your perspectives on this conversation, the times in your life where you've seen yourself spiral from these social media observations and feel frustrated and belittled and then just kind of numb. So if you have these experiences or if you have other experiences, definitely please share them with the community. So first off, there are no secrets. There are no secrets. This is one of the biggest things for you to catch yourself in the midst of when you are watching a social media post or watching a training, or, a marketer hits your email and they're telling you that they have this hack, this secret, this tip that will just change your life and bring you immense amount of success and value and time with your kids, and it'll transform your relationships and all of the things. I want you to remember to pause and utilize some critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to assess based on values and priorities what matters to you and what choices will be made because of what matters to you. This is where we're able to actually pause and say yes decisively to something, to an opportunity, to a person, to a proposal, to your kid, right? Or to decisively say no. No, thank you. I'm not taking this opportunity. I'm not taking this deal. I'm not taking this, response from my child. I am creating something else. You being able to critically think is absolutely a part of your ability to prioritize the values of your family and you, to be able to understand what's working and not working in the dynamic of the things that you're implementing in your family, the things that you're implementing in your business. This is so important to any sense of success in your day. And so it's not about get up at 5 a.m. and do this thing at this, because that's the secret that everybody's telling you that they have. I have the perfect strategy of how to run your day and how to prioritize and what to do and what not to do. And whenever anybody is promising you that, you got to pause and remember, they aren't you. You have a different set of values, a different set of beliefs, a different set of prioritizations because of your family and the uniqueness of your family. And you have a different level of, I'm comfortable with this and I'm not comfortable with this. So you are a different individual person. And because of this, you are going to make choices and pursue a different kind of success than someone else would. Remember, success is subjective. You could have a successful day because your kids are clothed and healthy and happy and eating food, and your spouse came home and you had a lovely conversation and you got the wash done, and you go to bed at night and you're like, I am so happy. I am successful. Today was a success. You could also have the same objectives completed and feel belittled, exhausted, frustrated, resentful, because your level, your parameters of success are different than the woman next to you. So understand that your perception of what matters to you, what you believe, your values, the things that you prioritize will impact and influence where you need to spend your time, where you need to focus your energy, and where you need to use and invest your resources. This may feel really ambiguous to you, and that's the point. And the reality is you are a different person. So when we are looking for solutions for specific problems that we have, we get to look for them through critical thinking. We get to look for them through our own lens of what we say yes to, what we say no to, what we prioritize as something that's important, and what we prioritize as something that we're not going to say yes to or we're not going to move forward in. Hi y'all, this is Editing Katie here, and I realized very quickly that I gave you so much value and so much content in the full version of this video that we're going to split it into a part 1 and a part 2. So right now you're viewing the part 1. The part 2 will come out in a few days. So if you liked this video, if there's something about this part 1 that is insightful or interesting or something that you want to hear more on this topic around prioritization, then definitely comment down below and let us know in the community. This supports not only the progress of the channel, but also we want to hear from you. Also, if you liked this part 1 and you want part 2, definitely like and subscribe to this channel. That will tell us that you really appreciate this content and want to have more of this content. Okay, I will see you on part 2 very soon.